You've asked for it, now it's finally here. In this video, we're going to open the doors to the back end of the Skybow contract management app. You're going to see how every feature was built in the Skybow Studio, and you'll get best practice tips. Let's dive in and uncover the backend. As you can see, we've built the Skybow contract management app in the Skybow Studio, which is our local platform for SharePoint. So everything which you will see in our step-by-step how-to guide to create a SharePoint contract management app is fully in our Skybow Studio. This won't be an introduction to our Skybow Studio, so if you want to have a base introduction to our Skybow Studio or want something about onboarding, just have a look into our YouTube channel. There you will find the videos you're searching for. So let's start with the base of our contract management app. Let's jump into the lists. We here have the account list, which contains all the contact information about the companies you have contracts with. So each account can have different contracts, and each contract belongs to one account. Contract types are used to classify the contracts we manage in our contract management app. So each contract belongs to one contract type, and of course, each contract type can classify more than one contract. The next list is cancellation modes. Those classify when a contract which is managed in the app can be cancelled. This can be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, etc. Each contract has one cancellation mode, and of course one cancellation mode can belong to various contracts. And last but not least, we have our contract list. This contains all the items, all the contracts which are managed in the app. The three lists I named before are all connected with this list with lookups. The contract list has also its own sub-library where all the contract documents are stored. So each contract which is managed in the contract management app has its own folder in the sub-library contract documents. So that's all about the base, all about the lists we have in our app. Now let's go through the workflow step by step, and I will go through the most important points, how I designed them, how I built them, and what's important if you want to build a contract management app in SharePoint yourself. Let's start on the home page. Here we have two filtered views, which is the next contracts reaching the deadlines and my own active contracts. Those are just two different list views which are filtered. To get this layout, I edited the list with JSON. The other element on our homepage are the Skybow action buttons. Those can be configured in the Skybow Studio. These Skybow action buttons can execute different workflows or can open a form, can link to a web page, whatever you want to do. So let's have a look into one of them, because here we linked two different list views, which is something I would always recommend to provide the important list views for the end users by just one button click. As you can see, this action just opens a web page, which is the list contracts. In this case, it's not a filtered view because it's just all contracts which I want to show. Let's continue with the display form. As you can see, the display form is structured with tabs and a multi-column layout. I'm going to show you how to do that in the Skybow Studio. Okay, this is my display form in Skybow Studio. As you can see, it looks exactly the same like in the front end, just with a few more possibilities to edit it. Here we have our tabs. As you can see, we have one more tab which we didn't saw in the front end, which is because it has a visibility expression. So here I can say when this should be visible. So as soon as I replaced the contract, I can see the tab with replaced contracts. To add a new tab, I just need to go on the plus, and a new tab is there. Then I can give it a name, a visible state, and I can everything I want to do. I can also copy a tab if I want to delete it. So I will delete it for now because we don't need a new tab. And with the home icon, I can say which tab should be the default opened one as soon as I open the form. So if I want to be the third tab to be the default opened one, I can do so too. Let's also have a look at the multi-column layout. To do so, I just need to add a new section, and then I can choose which layout the section has. So if I want to do a 2-column layout as I have up there, I just need to click on there, and then I can add different fields. I can add data connectors, different controls on the form, and of course all the lists and libraries. On the form, I also have various command bar actions, which I can execute as a user. Those command bar actions are configured via the Skybow Action Builder, which is a low-code wizard. Let's have a look at one of the action buttons. As you can see, I have a workflow which is executed as soon as I click on the button. So as soon as I want to replace the contract, a new status is set, which is replaced. Then a new list form is going to be opened, so I can add the new contract with which I want to replace it. It's opened in the panel, medium-sized. I can say which form needs to be opened. Then we have another change to the status. And the last step is just to reload the page, so everything I just entered is going to be shown to the end user. So this is how the Skybow Action Builder works. So it's pretty easy to create all the workflows. I can just use one of the pre-configured actions, like, for example, show a message, just drag and drop it here, configure it via the low-code wizard, and yeah, that's it. The same goes with all the other buttons. We can quickly have a look at them. To cancel a contract, it's basically the same. We set a new status, we open a new list form for the status change, and the rest is the same as we just saw before. And for editing the contract, it's even more easy because it's just open a new list form and after that reloading the page. So that's all the magic behind the action buttons in the Skybow contract management app. As I just mentioned in the base, the contracts list also has a sub-library where all the documents go in. So as you can see, I have the sub-library here and I have our file preview feature. So people don't need to download the document to look at it. They can look at it in the app directly. Let's also have a look at that in the studio to see how it's configured. Okay, so in the Documents tab, we have at first a sub-library. It's just an element which we can add like all the other controls or fields. This is also something we can just configure via the low-code wizard. So all we say is just what should be displayed and which actions I want to show for the sub-library. So that's all. It's just a low-code wizard. I can, of course, do more customization if I want to, or I can show a dynamic folder path if I want to, but that's all not relevant for the app. And the file preview is also just a control I can add. It's the file viewer. The configuration is also via low-code wizard. You need to write a few lines of code, but it's basically this code you've seen for now, and you just need to insert your variables. So if you want to use it, just make a screenshot, copy it, and use it for your solution. Let's also have a look at the new form. So if we want to add a new contract, we have different kind of fields, and I want to show you the lookups. So for example, here I can choose the account the contract should be linked to, for example, the event corp. So that's how it looks in the front end. As you can see, for contract type, it's the same. I can also search for different things like confidentiality agreement. If I have a really long list, then this could help, of course. Let's jump back into the backend. As you can see, again, it exactly looks the same like in the front end, just with the configuration possibilities. I want to show you how such a lookup is configured. So let's go into the account contact. As you can see, it's again a low-code wizard. So what you basically need to configure is which of the fields should be shown in the drop-down list. What's the search column about? So in which field the search column should look. And of course, you can configure it way deeper if you want to, but most of the time that's not necessary. So even such a complicated lookup can be configured if you don't have any coding skills with a Skybow Studio. Back in the new form, I also want to show you what visible expression means. So once I say there isn't any end date, so it's a never-ending contract, which I can maybe cancel once a year, but never ends if I don't cancel it. Then I want to say it has no end date. And what you see is the field for end date disappears and all the other fields I need for an ongoing contract appear. Let's also have a look how you configure this in the backend. Let's have a look at the visible expression of end date, so the field which disappears as soon as I say it's a never-ending contract. Here we have the visible expression I just talked about. So when the end date is not true, then this appears. So if there is an end date, if the no end date switch is true, then it disappears. As you can see, there are also different other configuration possibilities. So I can say when the field should be enabled, which can maybe refer to a certain user group, what's the initial value the field should contain, if there should be a calculated value the field should contain, and I can make it required. So as soon as I have an end date, it's of course required. And as soon as there isn't any end date, it's no more required. And I can add a validation. So if I have a field where only numbers should go in, or where an email address should go in, I can validate the values the end users enter and say if it matches the criteria I want to have. In the front-end video, I also showed you that there are email notifications when a contract ends, which are sent to the person which is responsible for the contract. So this is how such an email could look like, and I have the possibility to directly open the contract and take action if needed. Such actions can be configured in different ways. They can be executed via a button click, they can be triggered via a certain event, or they can be scheduled like in our case. So the scheduled actions check once a day at 6 p.m. if the criteria I configured in the scheduled actions are true, and then execute the actions. So the criteria I added can be found under filter. It checks the end date and the contract status, and if that's all true, those actions are executed. So it updates the list item, sets the contract status to expired, and it sends an internal email which goes to the contract owner email and which I configured here in the body tab. So it's just a plain mail with a few variables which are filled by the system automatically. Okay, so that's it. That are the most important features I've included in our Skybow contract management app, and which I also showed you in the front end video. Now you know how I configured and built them in the Skybow Studio, so with our low-code platform for SharePoint. So it's no SharePoint out-of-the-box app, but the app uses a lot of the out-of-the-box features. That's because Skybow sits on top of your SharePoint and enhances everything within. So the base are the SharePoint out-of-the-box features, but we make our apps a lot better with the Skybow features we add on top. Nevertheless, it's a native SharePoint app which runs 100% natively in your SharePoint environment. That's the secret behind the Skybow contract management app. It's built entirely on our own low-code platform, the Skybow Studio. And the best part, you don't have to build the solution from scratch. If you want to, you can test our ready-to-use app. Just download it from our website. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to learn more about how to build smart SharePoint solutions.